Hello, Michael here, looking at Psalms 84 for our devotion today. A psalm which may be subtitled, My Soul Longs for the Courts of the Lord. And we're focusing on verse 2 to 3 for our exposition today. We'll read the first 3 verses. Verse 1. How amiable are thy tabernacles, O Lord of hosts. Verse 2. My soul longeth, yea, even fainteth for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh cried out for the living God. And verse 3. Yea, the sparrow hath found an house, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she may lay her young. Even thine altars, O Lord of hosts, my King and my God. And as we turn to the treasure of David for the exposition, let's go ahead and read verse 2 again. My soul longeth, yea, even fainted for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh cried out for the living God. And as we turn to the treasure of David, Spurgeon exposits. My soul longeth, it pines, and faints to meet with the saints in the Lord's house. The desire was deep and insatiable. The very soul of the man was yearning for his God, yea, even fainteth, as though it could not long hold out, but was exhausted with delay. He had a holy love sickness upon him, and was wasted with an inward consumption, because he was debarred the worship of the Lord in the appointed place. For the courts of the Lord, to stand once again in those areas which were dedicated to holy adoration, was the sole longing of the psalmist. True subjects love the courts of their king. My heart and my flesh cried out for the living God. It was God himself that he pined for, the only living and true God. His whole nature entered into his longing. Even the clay cold flesh grew warm through the intense action of his fervent spirit. Seldom indeed does the flesh incline in the right direction, but in the matter of Sabbath services, our weary body sometimes comes to the assistance of our longing heart, for it desires the physical rest as much as the soul desires the spiritual repose. The psalmist declared that he could not remain silent in his desires, but began to cry out for God at his house. He wept, he sighed, he pleaded for the privilege. Some need to be whipped to church, while here is David crying for it. He needed no clatter of bells from the belfry to ring him in. He carried his bell in his own bosom. Holy appetite is a better call to worship than a full chime. In verse 3 it reads, Yea, the sparrow hath found an house, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she may lay her young, even thine altars, O Lord of hosts, my King and my God. Yea, the sparrow hath found an house. He envied the sparrows which lived around the house of God, and picked up the stray crumbs in the courts thereof. He only wished that he too could frequent the solemn assemblies and bear away a little of the heavenly food. And the swallow a nest for herself, where she may lay her young. He envied also the swallows whose nests were built under the eaves of the priest's house, who there found a place for their young, as well as for themselves. We rejoice not only in our personal religious opportunities, but in the great blessings of taking our children with us to the sanctuary. The church of God is a house for us and a nest for our little ones. Even thine altars, O Lord of hosts. To the very altars these free birds drew near. None could restrain them, nor would have wished to. And David wished to come and go as freely as they did. Mark how he repeats the blessed name of Jehovah of hosts. He found in it a sweetness which helped him to bear his inward hunger. Probably David himself was with the hosts, and therefore he dwelt with emphasis upon the title which taught him that the Lord was in the tented, field as well as within the holy curtains. My King and my God, here he utters his loyalty from afar. If he may not tread the courts, yet he loves the King. If an exile, he is not a rebel. When we cannot occupy a seat in God's house, he shall have a seat in our memories and a throne in our hearts. The double my is very precious. He lays hold upon his God with both his hands, as one resolved not to let go till the favor requested be at length accorded. Oh, sweet is that holy hunger, desire, and passion to be in the presence of the courts of the Lord. Trust you enjoy the meditation. Michael here declaring yet again, Jesus is Lord. Until next time, be blessed.